Anything new on Petrangelo or Dorofeev?
Nothing new. We'll keep him as day-to-day. Neither one skated today. Hill was maintenance. He wasn't out there either, and that's it.
When you look back in the second period, was it more so just the two power plays got them going and was able to build momentum? Was there something else that allowed them to take over?
Well, that helps. You're defending a lot more. I just think they got to their game in the second and kept pushing, used everybody, and I think there was some part of the rush game there opened up a little bit. Some of that is us not forechecking as well as we need to. Some of it's puck management, which I don't think was all of it for sure. We needed to do a better job with it, but it was more sustained pressure in their end. Try to find a way to get some. We really didn't. So now they're coming at us in waves, and that's when they, sort of, every good team that has four lines, if they can roll over and they're coming, they're not stuck in their own end. I mean, they're going to do some damage, and they didn't on the scoreboard, but they did mentally for their own. They knew they were playing well. We kind of go to the room feeling we sort of got through it type of mentality, and they carried that through the third, got a break early on, and kind of kept pushing, and we weren't able to kind of counter that.
Bruce, can you draw on being down 2-1 to Minnesota for this series too? Well,
it's one game. I mean, we're not losing our mind here thinking anything's accomplished yet. You got to win 4 or lose 4 depending on what side you're on. So one that we would look at and go, well, we did have a lead going into the third, so we were doing something right, but it's behind us now. So I'm sure our guys know we were behind the last series. We found a way to get back in it. We'll talk about those things, but it's a different team. Edmonton went to Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals last year, and I mean, they're a hungry team to get back there, I'm going to assume, and take care of unfinished business is probably what they're talking about. So we've got to be mindful of that I don't think it's going to be, well, we got one on the road, we'll be happy. That mindset's gone out the window for them, I assume, a long time ago. I'm sure they're thinking, let's get both and do what we have to do to get both. So we better be on our toes, and that'll be the message. And yes, it helps that we were able to come back. That's always a good thing to know in the back of your mind. We've done it in games this year a lot, but that we can't be, kind of relying on that. We got to play better. That's what we got to do.
Hi, Bruce. When you found out Alex Petrangelo wasn't ready to go, you went with Kaden Corzak. What is the message you send for a young guy who hasn't played in the playoffs, particularly on the hour's notice?
Yeah, well, he actually went through it late in the year in Vancouver. It's not a playoff game, but, White Cloud had an injury and it didn't heal as well as we thought, so he had to be ready to go. That's a bit of his job description as the 7th D or 7th or 8th, depending on how we use him and Hutton. Other than that, you got to play. You got to play to your strength. Listen, they're going to be coming at you. They're going to be throwing pucks behind you. They're going to test you. So that's part of playoff hockey. So be yourself, the best version of yourself. That's it. You're going to make some mistakes. Not everything's going to go your way, but come to the bench, you shake it off, get ready to go back out there. I thought he was fine. I mean, when he's skating, he's a good player because he can defend with his feet very well, has a long stick. He'll move the puck if he's kind of into the game, and he can separate from people. He's a really strong skater and a good defender, and that's what we're going to ask of him.
What didn't happen with the forecheck last game, and then maybe what might get better with just changing the lines around?
Well, balanced scoring, is what when you put Carly, he drives the line, so you put him up in with the other place, then there's you miss that element. So he's always been good with whoever he plays with, so he's going to pull people along. Forecheck, I just thought we were a little late at times, duplicated a few other times, and then their first goal we were in between. So we got to understand that their right sticks, Bouchard, Klingberg. I don't know the other younger kid as well. I don't think he's, they're more accomplished puck movers, those two. They're going to look to make plays if you don't play through them. So, and that's what they did. They bombed it up ice because we kind of, we weren't on time. Our stick wasn't in the right spot to break up some of those plays. So we didn't check very well in that regard. Our defending wasn't good enough in a lot of areas, but specifically in forecheck neutral zone, we have to have better sticks against a team that regroups with a lot of speed. So take away time and space or get over people and have good sticks. And it's going to be both. There's no way you can be on time every time. What if you're in the middle of a line change? They spread you out a little bit, so there's some of that we'll address tomorrow. And you talk about it before the series, but I've said this many times, until they live it, it can be hard to get their attention, and now they saw it. So hopefully they'll buy into what we watch on tape over and over.
Execution was a big word last night. I'm curious what a practice like today helps the group, and how much of the execution is also not just the physical but the mental part of it as well within the game.
Well, I mean, execution is pressure from the other team, your focus that particular time as a player, puck support all over the ice. There's a lot of different things that go into it. We weren't good enough at it. Yet early on we were making some plays. We had a chance, a two-on-one out of a forecheck situation. They turned it over as Pearson Olsen. If we execute a little better there, it might be 3-0. And a couple of 2-on-ones, but there was other plays on the breakout. I don't think we were clean enough, and they hemmed us in. That's probably where we need to. The biggest area I noticed where we need to be better. Allows their depth of their lineup that are forecheck guys to sort of, play behind you and get sustained pressure in the O-zone, which fatigues, and then the big dogs come out, and they're flying. So it goes hand in hand, and that's no different us. When our top guys are going, it's usually because, maybe our fourth line's worn them down a little bit too. So that's where we got to be better, in and out of our end. That's what happened in the second period, got stuck, and I think it kind of translated into a third period that they got hungry about because they saw it happen for them. And so that's where we're at. So where is it? Execution, it's all of the above. We're typically a pretty good team making plays. So that's what we got to do tomorrow.
More basic question. You mentioned last night being off net. How do you address that beyond the obvious? And is there a fine line between just putting the puck on the net instead of...
I think that's NHL players have to, it's hard to tell them, hey, hit the net, right? I'm trying to coach, I'm trying to score, and I'm trying to shoot it past the goal, I'm trying to pick a corner, all those things. But we're usually pretty good at that, but it was I think our lowest rate of the entire season. So that's one of those days you hopefully it's a one-off. Sometimes that your best chance is the puck ends up rolling, and you're that type of night. But I guess that where we try to do better with that is, hey, if you don't feel like you've got a clean chance to beat the goalie because you're under a little bit of pressure, how about a shot for a rebound for your guys to make them defend the next play type of thing. And sometimes guys will do that, shoot for a rebound and just try to hit the net. If they know that there's a guy in their hip or there's the lane's taken away a little bit, so that'll be the onus on them though. I mean that's one that just the players have to make a decision when they get the puck, whether they feel they have a legitimate chance to score or for the next play. And last night we didn't do a very good job with either.
For sure, saying you can't always rely on your ability to come back, but how much has the calculus changed about getting comfortable with being able to come back, especially because we've seen it so much not only in this postseason, but the last few postseasons. So, how comfortable do you as a coach and players have to be with the idea of, this sometimes is what you have to do to win games, is coming back? Well,
we've done it a lot over the years here, so I think our guys are good with it. I think when you're coaching your team, whether you have it in you, right? If you're a team that can score, if you're a team that struggles to score and then you got to come back, there's a part of you knows, oh no, it's going to be a grind tonight. So, but we have guys that can finish and up and down the lineup. So I think we're good with that. I can't tell you how every team would be, but I think you have to be in today's game. Nothing goes your way the whole 60 minutes. You get calls, they right away had to kill a 4-minute penalty. That's a tough way to start the game. Minnesota had to do it in Game 6. That's hockey some nights. So now we score, they're chasing it. They can't get down on themselves, and would be the same way in their shoes. So it's just, I think the important thing into your question is you can't let 1-0 become 2-0, 3. A 1-goal deficit that gets to 2 or 3, that's when you have problems. Anybody can come back from 1, maybe sometimes 2 if it's early enough. But when it gets stretched out, I think that's what you got to be careful of. And I think that's where teams that do come back are mindful of that. Usually, it's like, okay, let's not just open the floodgates and as I said, let them have easy chances just so we get a goal in the next minute. It's like, how about we win the next segment, whatever that's, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then see where that leads you. That's usually should be your approach, and I think that's the approach that tends to be more successful.
Yeah,
forgive me for taking you off topic from the playoffs, but we're doing a story in the high school hockey league here in town.
I'm familiar with it.
Love to hear.
I've seen you there.
Yes, love to hear. I got a grandkid playing, you got a son playing on it, but your thoughts on what the Knights' role is in making this happen for high school students, and as a parent, what it's like for you to have a youngster there.
Well, the Knights' role is that we're trying to grow the game, and at all levels. So usually you start at a younger age. You know, the kids get into it younger, and they have the Junior Knights program. There's a couple in town here too. So that's the first step of growing the game. Now, high school kids that start a little later, what's the avenue for them where they feel comfortable going to play, right? So if you start a little later, it's like, well, I don't want to start playing when these kids have been playing. So they've put together, you know, a league with a couple of different levels, and we were talking the other day, there's no contact in the high school one because you got ninth graders and it's co-ed against, you know, maybe 12th graders, so I think it's a great way to learn and go play. My son loves it. It's a break from maybe club hockey where it's a little more just, hey, go out and play and work on your skills, and there's, you know, at the end of the day, the wins and losses, not that they matter at 14 years old, but it is club hockey. That's more important. So just go play, enjoy the game, see if you fall in love with it or not. And I think that's what they're trying to do. And parents are out there, so that grows, you know, gets them involved as well. And maybe they become a little more into hockey and goes from there. You got to start somewhere, grassroots, right? That's where it started in California, Florida, all these places. Now it's come, you know, Arizona for a while there. Hopefully Utah gets it going. Vegas is getting it going, and you know, now you've got another pocket of the country that's into hockey.